Hi. Hello. I am in the middle. I have had some technical difficulties. Friggin', Twitch has me like shadow banned or something right out of the gates. Hi. You guys might get to watch the murder of a toddler any second now. But I have, because people have struggled to find, hello everyone on TikTok. It's very hit or miss whether people can find me. So I've got people on TikTok and people on Twitch, and I've got a ticket into Twitch because it turns out this is like one of the issues that nobody has figured out a workaround. If people can't find you on Twitch, that's a thing only Twitch can fix. So, hello, Elon for dinner. Anybody that has the ability to follow me on Twitch and TikTok, head over to Twitch and follow me, although I definitely appreciate the likes in TikTok. Hello, Trillion. No, Twitch is the point here. Thank you. I am trying to, this is just kind of testing out this format. Thank you for the likes on TikTok. I tell everybody, like, blow up the likes. Let me break the way you think about likes honestly. We are trained to do, and I'm sorry if you've heard this lecture before, but we are conditioned to like boomers in Facebook. We like, and that means we agree with something. That does not make sense in the context of a live. If a live is worth you hanging out in, hit the like button. I don't care if you agree with them or disagree with them. You're not co-signing their take. I made 1 penny in a live that I had almost 20. Elon for dinner was in there, I think. I'm not sure if Quid Pro, you were not in that one, Quid Pro what, but you're not, I'm not making any money off the likes. You're not telling the world that you agree with my takes. What you're doing is you're getting the like pushed to FYPs, so more interesting people might wander in and you might have a more rowdy live. Ingus Maximus can attest, like my lives can tend to get pretty entertaining. Although so far, I don't think that has been that has not been my drive really. Like that's kind of crass. Like I hope, I hope people are engaged. But I'm not, this is not a song and dance stream, right? Like I try to talk about issues. So if you're on TikTok and TikTok is where you're comfortable, that's great. I would sure love to see more people on Twitch. And again, we've got to have this fun conversation about what do you guys think about, like, what is this thing? People on TikTok, like, yeah, Cat God, Cat God can keep their own counsel. That's a creator that I always have this motivation to promote, but I'm now in a really weird place about promoting creators, and nobody should hear this as like all-knowing compost wisdom. Yeah, I'm definitely happy to talk about that. Hey guys, if you get poop and pee together in a compost toilet, it does not automatically magically turn into sewage and become lethal, and people tell you moronic things on that score. Hello. Thank you. People are trickling in on Twitch. I am supposed to have a guest here, but I will tell you guys, I will accept the blame for that guest not being here. I will have 2 people here tomorrow night, and I'm happy to open the floor to anybody who wants to jump in. And thank you for nobody hitting me with that child is being neglected. No, his mom is wrestling with him. He knows that I'm on what he thinks is a Zoom call, and that's his jam. I mean, babe, people would be happy to see him if he's not going to come in here and kick the shit out of my tripod. He's on lives all the time. Like, I know people in here have seen both of them on lives, but to manage Twitch and TikTok at the same time, I had to have it sitting on something. I'm still trying to make my Gatorade bottle tripod work out here. So yeah, compost. That's a great topic. Really though, I wanted to talk about, and we can get back to that, but you guys can give me a consensus, because TikTok can be kind of a, either you, or a compost. What? Wow, we're gonna just rewind that. Did you guys just see my nose hairs? Cybernetic Gorilla, do you Twitch? You don't Twitch. I saw you wander in. I feel like we talked about that very glancingly. Yeah, I think it might have been. I think my finger might have been over it. Hey, we're getting more viewers in Twitch. That's exciting. Thank you for the likes on live again. I stopped rambling about it after a while. It makes it a better live. It is more likely to get more people in here. As you can see, Cybernetic Gorilla, who has quite a bit bigger of following than me, has wandered in here. Yeah, compost is weird. I mean, compost is, hello V, I saw you wander in. I think, my interest in compost is how much bullshit there is about compost. People think they understand compost and they don't know what compost is at all. There's not a bunch of different kinds of compost. You have triggered an autistic info dump. Sorry about that. There's a lot of bullshit running around online about compost, and it's not a particularly confusing subject. It's black and white. There's a way to do it, period. There's one thing that is compost, and then there's a bunch of other bullshit that people call compost. So, somebody... Okay, so now that a door is closed in between us, nobody here knows how to manage the toddlers, because I am the one that does the most of the managing of them. So people kind of just like make this, half-ass effort to rein them in, at not really understanding what that takes, and just let them fucking scream at me from wherever they happen to be at any given moment. So you guys can... Yeah, so the plan is, all of this stuff is gonna go on YouTube, where, surprise, surprise, I am the Ronin Librarian. Let me give you guys a bit of advice, even if you are not bigger creators. If you mean to have any kind of digital platform, it's easy to set up a Google, go get your username on YouTube and Twitch and all of that shit. I will just... So anyway, compost, why compost interests me as a librarian and an autistic person, because it's really simple and straightforward, and what you think is compost is probably not compost. So that's all. If people want to hear the rest of that autistic info dump, you will go... It's been wild that... people have said really nice things, actually. People have said some of the nicest things that I've had commented on that, bullshit the internet teaches you about composting on my backup account. But what's funny is how many people on something that I've called bullshit... I'm sorry, I'm just using this as a mirror. I'm going to start, if anyone gets that Disney reference. The bullshit the internet teaches you about compost, people just jump into my comments full chest and just repeat internet silliness. Who got it? Come on, I haven't posted anything. You probably can't find it because I haven't posted anything. Actually, that one Entangled is actually a callback to another Disney movie. It's in a couple Disney movies, but the one Entangled is a reference to another Disney movie. So I'll give you half credit. For that. You're showing your age. I got you. I'm zeroing in on you now, Ingus Maximus. I know you must be younger than me. It is Gaston. There you go. I am definitely on YouTube. I could tell you my YouTube account that is not the Ronin Librarian, that I have millions of views on, but that is not my... I doubt you're older. You're not older than me. How old do you think I am? I'll tell you how old I am. I don't give a shit. But I won't tell you. You tell me, and then I'll tell you. How's everybody? There's compost and there's diets for your plants. I don't get it. I don't get what you're saying, a cat god. You are, I will... I don't know what that means. I'm going to need some clarification. I am older than you, Ingus Maximus. Oh, V? Goddamn, dude. I'm 44, thank you very much. And I just turned 44. I haven't been 44 for a month yet. So I'm not, thank you. Well, I'll only be 82. Thank you, 42. I thought I get younger than that typically. Is this, this format makes me look old. Yeah, remember, again, and I'm saying this to you guys, not even specific to my live. If you're hanging out in lives, hit the live button. from a librarian's perspective, my professional wisdom is a live and a Twitch both are a collaborative, curated event. They're participatory for a reason. If you're sitting there not participating and then wondering why it's not cool, you have a decent amount of control over that. Especially on TikTok. Like, it's weird. TikTok really wants one person to be able to influence the outcome of a live. Have you guys noticed that? Like, I'll just set and mash. I've definitely pushed some lives that I like. In fact, I will give you guys all a recommendation for one of my favorite lives I've been in so far, and I've seen him do this twice, and it is worth a watch. Supersolid.llc. Anybody follow that creator? That's a mutual of mine. Yeah, but if you want a good live, go follow Supersolid LLC and pay attention for when he's on, because his shit is yeah, Trillion. Man, you gotta not say stuff like that right in freaking right in the comments. Yes, I might have some transitory connection to that location that's just in my comments, homie. I don't like my real name is not my username for reasons. Thank you, everybody. Keep in mind, please. Thank you for the likes. So compost is really simple, only because, Cat God, you said this, and I cannot help it. The autist and the librarian in me won't let it rest. So if you just throw food somewhere, you're fine. You're fine. It's just a gentle reminder, please. I don't mean to let details like that slip, and sometimes it happens, but that would be great if we could. I don't live in Reynoldsburg, to be clear. Many people have lived in Reynoldsburg. I've met people in Manhattan from Reynoldsburg. I've met people in San Francisco I've run into from Reynoldsburg. So but yes, there's a connection to Reynoldsburg. We could be connected to Reynoldsburg through that one random dude who had a big cat farm right next to a bunch of people, and they had no idea there were tigers and shit in Reynoldsburg. So compost, Cat God. There's a lot of shit on. I'm very happy that you're in here. So you guys can do what you like. If you have not checked out Cat God's content, I would highly recommend it. I'm starting to get a better sense of where the tapestry of this creator's brand comes from. But one of my favorite creators, I always hit the like button, as they know. Although, as you guys can probably guess, Comrade Mac can tell you, who's in here, if I probably like a lot of your videos. I don't understand the point, because I'm not, like, TikTok is a promotion platform, right? So if you like somebody enough to follow them, if you like somebody enough to be, like, watching their video, like, hit the goddamn like button. Like, I like Comrade Mac stuff because I want her to have a bigger following. I like a Cat God stuff because I want, so what am I going on about? Right, there you go, Elon for dinner. Cat God's content is an easy recommend. And I will say, I have Cat God as one of those creators that occasionally my partner will just catch a bit of the content from across the room, and we'll come up and be like, what the hell is that? Like, what are you watching? Another Cat God. They come up in conversation from time to time. Although I'm like, I don't want to, but anyway, followed Cat God for a long time. I followed Cat God for months and months. This is why, and I think honestly the reason that I don't promote Cat God more often is because I have this unconscious selfish tendency to be one of the people that knows an underground creator, that I continue to wait for I continue to wait for a take that I'm watching charitably, right? Because let's be honest, we watch people, I'm sure people watch videos of mine that they get to the end of and are like, oh, well, that was a turd. Or you don't get to the end of it, you swipe because they get rambly at the beginning, which I give literally zero shits. But I keep waiting for one of those with Cat God. I keep running into, like, I don't want to blow up anybody else's spot, but I definitely do not watch every second of somebody's video. Um, I mean, Shulak, I will tell you, I don't know who's who from TikTok, but I like, I don't. I'm having multiple conversations with multiple people. If that's jumping around too much for you, I apologize. That's probably the most diplomatic I will get about it. My brand is not really diplomacy. So I'll get back on target. I'll get back to compost. Here is what compost is. I can equip you to never be confused about compost ever again. You can walk out of here knowing you know what the hell. Hello V. Of course, Cat God. Yes, everybody, you'll be happy to know Cat God approves of the pace of the stream. I'm sure they were all on tender hooks, like wondering if Cat God was gonna dig the. So anyway, compost. Here we go. Compost is putting nitrogen-rich material, which is food, right? That's my fucking beans and rice. Nitrogen-rich material and carbon material together to let bacteria eat them. And the byproduct of bacteria is kind of like dirt, but kind of like fertilizer and super nitrogen and nutrient rich, and plants love it. People call it black gold. So specifically what you're doing is you are taking, and this to me seems like, I needed to get somebody to mod, but I feel bad asking people to. But anybody in here who wants to DM me and volunteer to mod at some point, but you don't have to. I definitely have volunteered to mod for a few people, and I officially never fucking do it because I'm busy all the time and also flaky and an asshole. So anyway, basic biology, nitrogen-rich material is anything that is gonna rot and stink quickly if you leave it out. That's how you know it's nitrogen rich. If it's carbon rich, you can leave it out indefinitely and nothing is gonna happen to it. So you can figure out for yourself. We're talking about paper and cardboard and straw and sawdust, things like that are high in carbon. Food is high in that. Food and poop and meat, things that were alive. Things that were alive and somewhere on the scale of sentience tend to be high in nitrogen. Plants have nitrogen, but you are not going to run a compost pile off of spinach. So that's it. You pile up nitrogen somewhere, you pile up carbon somewhere, and you let bacteria eat it. That is the simple thing. Now, old meat is high in nitrogen, yeah. So, and this is why I talk about this stuff, because composting is actually really beneficial. Like, let's establish, telling people that us composting is the answer to climate change. That is fascist propaganda. We're not causing climate change. All of us together are not and when I say all of us, I mean the proletariat, or, those lucky few of us that can count themselves among the swoletariat. We're not causing climate change. We're not even putting a dent in what the oligarchy is causing climate change. Nevertheless, we can mitigate acute issues and crises. The difference between cold composting and hot composting is there is no such thing as cold composting and hot composting. Hot composting is just composting. If your compost isn't hot, it isn't composting. Cold composting is fermentation. And I love this because people that is one that people want to argue with you about in comment sections. If you want to go, congratulations, Mac. I will neither co-sign nor reject anybody's claim of that for themselves because it wouldn't be appropriate. But I am happy that you feel that way. So hot composting is composting. So here's the details. Now we know that it's nitrogen rich, carbon rich, and you let bacteria eat it. How that works is you're making a layer cake. You have a compost bin. The devil is in the details. It doesn't really start to compost. I could drag these out and show you guys my compost pile. Compost really doesn't start to get kicking until it's 3 feet tall. You need a pile that is 3 feet by 3 feet. And so what happens is in the process of building, you really build a compost pile. In the process of building your compost pile, you will take a bucket of your scraps or your poop. People use compost toilets, and that was just a generic gesture. I was not saying that I have a bucket of poop somewhere. People also like farmers compost. Livestock is compost fuel for sure. Anyway, you'll take a bucket of scraps and you dump them on your compost pile, and then you cover them with straw, and then you do that every time. You put old stuff on top of the old straw. Yeah, the compost tea trend is horrifying. Yes, thank you. Ingus Maximus talking about compost tea over here. I've gotten that question multiple times. Someone give me an example. The internet, the zeitgeist likes to mash up words that don't have anything. You're out of here. That baby has a whole nother parent. Never goddamn talk about my babies in live. You have no idea what is going on with anybody. So if I have a compost pile that starts cooling down, does it just need more nitrogen? Yes. People will tell you to turn it. Can turning have an effect? Yes. Turning does not go the whole distance of making up for a compost pile that is badly put together. There's not a lot of evidence. There's not a lot of evidence for turning. People will say that it is, but if you do your librarian due diligence, you will find out that they are all just repeating each other. So here's the thing, comrade. People like to talk about moisture. Watering your compost pile is a bad idea because getting your compost pile too wet has been shown to slow down composting. So a lot of what you run into online when you look up composting or anything is people just repeating the same busted ass sources. I'm trying to think of possums don't eat ticks. You guys know that, right? Like we don't but that's the thing, not really. So let me give you an example. People talk about someone asked about hot composting and cold composting. When you dig into it, there's all this snake oil that people try to add to. They do not eat ticks. There is no evidence to support that possums eat ticks. Where ticks came from was one study. Yeah, they are. They came with the burrow of the deceased mammal that we inhabited afterward. Yes, they are birch cabinets. No, they don't eat. We don't have any evidence that possums eat ticks. But people repeat that. I'm not going to say we all do, but it is something that I've heard commonly. But there was a recent survey of the contents of the stomachs of possums in North Carolina, or one of the Carolinas, some Carolina, and they didn't find even a leg of an arachnid that would match a tick in any of them, and it was something like a few dozen possums. And then they didn't do a different study. They went and they looked at old studies, I believe in Tennessee and maybe Illinois, and they looked through, because what do? What is the science? You do with critters? You either dissect them or you vivisect them. So they went and looked at old studies of possums, and they found that there were also no record of any arachnid, no parts even. And they were able to look and how do you get the fertilizer out? So that's not a stupid question. That's a great question. So I'll get back to that, and it will seem like I lose the thread, but if you've hung around in my lives, I don't really lose the thread. I just am able to bounce around and come back. I will get back to that one. But when they cataloged the contents of the possum stomachs, they were able to identify individual fleas. Like little stuff. They were able to find the parts of fleas. They never found the part of a single tick. So no, that's stuff that we just repeat to each other. There's so many things that we think are science that are fun facts, and compost is riddled with that stuff. So I will tell you, if you look online, you'll find something called the Berkeley method. And people tout the Berkeley method as being really fast. Hold on, I'm sorry, new tricks, old dog. How do you get the fertilizer out? So one of the most important components of a compost pile is a compost bin. You really cannot have a successful compost pile. A compost pile has to be architectural. The composition of a compost pile has to be kind of specific in order to make it work. So what you do New Tricks Old Dog. You have a bin that has 3 sides. Mine is stupid. I can show you when I got into this. I made mine out of fence wire, so it does not have 3 sides. They're circles, which was shitty. It was a dumb idea. So yes, I do dig mine out. And somewhere on my TikTok is a video of me having shoveled stuff into a wheelbarrow. But really, the wise thing to do is make a bin that has 3 sides. And the most popular for that is pallets, although look at capitalism in the internet. Remember when we were all excited about how you could do all this shit with free pallets? I trust we're all experienced enough. We've all been baptized enough in the internet at this point to be disabused of that free pallet nonsense. When's the last time anybody saw a free pallet anywhere? Anyway, you can still get pallets relatively inexpensively, and I imagine V probably has a line on cheap pallets. Thank you for the likes, guys. So yeah, you dig it out, but you have, in my case, it sucks. Although it's really rewarding digging it out because you're skeptical, right? You really don't know until you do it, until you make it through a first year of having compost. You don't really recognize until you're like digging your hands in it, and it's like, oh my god, this is rich ass fertile dirt. Like there's no mistaking it. So yeah, you dig it out in the end. But if you are not a dumbass like me and you make a 3-sided compost bin, it doesn't need, man, listen, let me talk about commercial compost then. Like I promise you, when I woke up one day and was like, someone said something dumb about compost and TikTok and I decided to take it personally, Russell, I did not take it personally lightly. If you want to talk about the compost industry and how crazy it is, how things from the compost industry trickle over incorrectly into people's backyard compost pile, I can go off for fucking days. Like, a pile can be done regardless. Let me be clear, everybody. At some point, some Cro-Magnon might have shit in the same spot all the time, wherever it was private from their clan or, village or whatever. And in the process of shitting in the same place all the time, maybe they wiped their ass with leaves from the same plant and then put them on top of that poo. And maybe that happened for a little while and they got a pile that was, only 1.5 feet tall. I bet you it compost. Like, these things are not hard and fast necessarily. Things can, what's up, Elon, for dinner? I'm just telling you, if you want to have something that functions mainstream, you can skip the conditions, I promise. And I'm not trying to be rude. This is just autistic info dump time. Like, I went down this rabbit hole. Compost is lousy with misinformation. And somebody up there, Ingus said, the compost tea trend is terrible. Yeah, and compost tea is the kind of thing that comes out of misinformation of compost. Guys, you know what compost tea is a lot? Russell, I'm sure you'll agree with this. Compost tea is often what we would literally call toxic waste, like definitively toxic waste. And people are doing it on purpose and encouraging other people to do it on purpose. Like, you can't drink rainwater on planet Earth anymore. You guys know that? Like, it's not safe to eat rainwater or to drink rainwater anywhere. So if you have a compost pile that you are encouraging to dribble leachate out into your yard, like, man, I first of all hope that your house is uphill from you, because I hope you are drinking that and not your neighbors. Like, compost is no joke. Like, yeah, I can show you, a vine is growing out of one of mine, but that's because it already is burnt. So anyway, so yes, you do have to dig compost out, but if you are wise in how you set your bin up to begin with, yes, there are differences between commercial compost and backyard compost, but there are a lot of differences across commercial compost. California, surprising no one, composts very differently than, Texas, where I swear to God, compost is just, try to shoot people that are a different color than you, and they just call it compost. Like,